Oh, good. There she is. So Terry Jo Bichell is going to be our next speaker. So Dr. Bichell is a translational neuroscientist. She was the founding director of the Angelman Biomarkers and Outcome Measures Alliance, which the acronym was ABOM. I really thought that was a cute name. She will say, along with Dr. Falzer, founded COMBINEDBrain, which is a pre-competitive consortium of patient advocacy organizations that works to identify outcome measures, biomarkers, and so on for rare neurodevelopmental disorders. And also as a parent, Terry Jo is part of the Angelman syndrome community, so her son Lou is an Angelman syndrome patient, and she has been alongside with him many times as he participated in clinical trials in the search for treatment for Angelman syndrome. So, Terry Jo, thank you for being here. I'll let you take it.
Do I do this or that? This one. This one. Okay. Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. Oh, I gotta get this one. Okay. Let me turn this on so I don't go over. Okay. Let's see if I can. Where do I point it? Over there. Okay. Got it. There we go. So I am going to talk about COMBINEDBrain. COMBINEDBrain is a nonprofit consortium of 140 nonprofits or more. We're adding new ones every day. And each one of our members is actually an organization like IDefine. So each one of our members is trying really hard to come to a cure or a treatment for the disorder they represent. The whole key is we're trying to work together. Here's a picture of my son, Lou. There's a picture of him on the left about when he was diagnosed with Angelman syndrome. There's a picture of him on the right about when he got his first antisense oligo treatment 3 years ago here at Boston Children's. Right. Thank you. Yes, clap. It took 23 years. The whole point is we want to shorten the timeline for everybody else. And how do you shorten the timeline? You all can help shorten the timeline. All these steps, let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Nah, you can just look at it. All these steps along the drug development pathway, they're all really important. So you can have scientists who actually find a compound that turns on a gene or delivers a gene therapy, and that isn't good enough. We can't get through the FDA unless we have natural history, unless we have biomarkers, unless we have animal models, unless we have so many other things. And so you all, as families, need to work together with the scientists, the industry partners, everybody else in the field to get all these things done all the way across. So the very first thing is to get early diagnosis. And everyone in here has a child who's already diagnosed. But if you know anyone who has a child under the age of 1 that you think might have a thing, please send them our way, because we don't know for sure, but we think the earlier we treat with these genetic treatments is probably going to be the better. Although I have to tell you that my son at 23 years old is still getting benefit from the antisense oligo. So we don't know how late is too late, and the brain is a wonderful thing. We also have this biorepository Dr. Falzer was talking about. Many of you have already donated to it. I'm not going to go into because she did cover it. Thank you very much, Anna. We do collect all different kinds of specimens, and we collect them all around the country. And if a person from your organization requests it, you can walk into any of the other foundation roadshows and you can give the donation. So if you didn't do it here in Boston when you were here, you can do it elsewhere in the country. We're up to 3,400 individuals in the biorepository. Probably a percent of those are controls, which are really important. And Anna was talking about that a minute ago. And now I get to skip some of the stuff about biomarkers because Anna covered it, which is. But the main point is, what you know is that DNA transcribes to RNA, translates to protein, and those proteins make up a person. And anywhere along that biological pathway, we might be able to find a biomarker. And so we look at all of those parts of the biological pathway, the DNA, the transcription, the RNA, the protein. And all through all of that, we're hoping to correlate it with the symptoms, like Anna mentioned. The more severe the symptom, we would expect the more strange the change in one of those measures. Anna talked about the biomarker project, which is actually still going on. So we did the first biomarker project. Now we have to do the next biomarker project. The first biomarker project, all it does is give us a clue. The second biomarker project helps us follow up on all those clues. It helps us follow up to find out if we measured your blood today, or your kid's blood today, and we measure it again next year, is that biomarker still going to be there? Maybe it isn't. Maybe it was just something you ate today. And so we have to measure it longitudinally to really understand. And longitudinal biomarkers are really important. We want to know if things change during the lifespan. Maybe some things in the blood or body fluids get worse. Maybe some things normalize over time. We have to know that so we can understand whether that biomarker is changing in response to treatment or just in response to life. We also have an EEG bank. I'm really excited about our EEG bank. We just launched it. And the thing is, how many of your kids have had EEGs? Yeah, a lot. So you all have EEGs. You already have them in some kind of an electronic health record somewhere. You can donate those EEGs to our EEG bank. It's kind of a pain to get them. You have to try to get the EEG, the raw EEG, and then upload it to our EEG bank. We have research coordinators who can help do that. It's really kind of a pain. But once you get it in there, all kinds of researchers can actually access those EEGs. And if there are enough EEGs, you can actually look in the EEG patterns to see if there's a pattern that could be a biomarker. So for Angelman syndrome, in fact, there is a beautiful pattern in the EEG that normalizes in response to treatment really quickly after the ASO is administered. What's super cool about it, it also normalizes the EEG in the mouse. So what we are all looking for is a biomarker like that in every disorder. The only way we can do that is to get a bazillion EEGs. So we need all those EEGs we can possibly get. I don't know, how many of you all have filled out a communication measure called the ORCA? At least one person, 2 people, okay, 3 people, a few people. So the ORCA was made for Angelman because we're trying to steal everything we possibly can from Angelman world so that everybody else won't have to wait 23 years to get a treatment. And this was just a survey of communication skills. I took it 2 days ago when I was here in Boston with my kid for his ASO treatment. It just asks you a bunch of questions about communication, but it was only made for Angelman syndrome. So the FDA actually gave us a grant along with, we're working with Duke University to expand it to a whole lot of other disorders, and we're going to need help from you all filling it out. All of these surveys, they are a pain. Everyone hates them. They hate the Vineland more than anything. They hate the ORCA too. You just got to do it anyway. And here's another one you can hate. The ORTAS, the Observer Reported Toileting Abilities Survey. This is my personal favorite. Yes, if my son, and I know he loves me. It would be nice if he could say I love you, but I don't really need that. Boy, do I need him to take himself to the toilet. And so if he actually makes improvements at taking himself to the toilet, all the time and trouble of flying back and forth from Nashville to Boston and having an intrathecal treatment with the ASO, I'm telling you, that will be worth it. So we made this survey to be able to see if we could measure all these parts of toileting skills. There are a lot of parts of toileting skills. It's social, it's physical, it's cognitive, it's complicated. So we made this, and flushing, I forgot to mention. So we made this survey, and we're about to be able to send it out to any researcher who wants to use it. So any researcher in here who's interested in using the ORTIS, please let us know. We sent it out to all the groups in COMBINEDBrain, and you can see EHMT1. We did get some of y'all to answer this survey. Thank you very much. So you helped, and that was a big deal. We also needed your little siblings, little cousins, neighbors, typical kids. We need normal kids, and in fact, we still need the controls, especially in the toileting, toilet training age between like 2 and 4. So if you know anybody between those ages who'd be willing to fill it out, if you have a grandkid, a niece or a nephew, please do fill it out. We need those dots on that graph. We also have at COMBINEDBrain a caregiver entered natural history study. You all have that. How many of you all are on Simon's? A bunch. How many of you all do the natural history here in Boston? A bunch. How many do Rare X? A bunch. Are some of y'all on Citizen? Okay. All of those are caregiver and entered natural history. We have one on our platform too. We try not to make you fill out the same things over and over. We try to get data use agreements from all those other platforms so you don't have to do it. You probably will have to fill out at least 1 or 2 surveys on our platform just to get you into the system. Please accept my apology. We do observational studies. So you all might find out that vitamin C is good for, I don't know what, I made that up. You might decide that caffeine is good for Kleefstra. I made that up too. But you might do that, and you might want to collect information on it. You might want to collect enough information that you can actually tell your doctor, I've been giving vitamin C with caffeine for X number of weeks, and my kid is doing better. You can actually collect that data on the matrix. You can probably collect it on any of your other platforms as well, but you have to be really rigorous about it. Collect it before you start taking them, whatever it is, the over-the-counter or the prescribed medication. Keep collecting it. Pay attention. An observational study is important. It is not a clinical trial. That is very important to know. You have to talk to your doctor about any of this kind of stuff. And there's no placebo control, and your patient advocacy group nor COMBINEDBrain is telling you to take a thing. But if you do take something, or your kid takes something, collect data on it. That is really important, and it might be preliminary data that can be used to come up with a better idea for a treatment. Here's one of the second to last things I'm going to tell you about. We have a mortality study. This is a sad story, but people do pass away. In Angelman syndrome, I started collecting data on people who passed away through Facebook. People aren't using Facebook as much as they were for a while, but for 15 years, I collected every single case of a person with Angelman who died that I could find. And then other people in the community found out what I was doing, and they started sending cases to me from all over the world. And we collected as much data as we could collect. We also worked with the Natural History Study at Boston Children's and all over San Diego. We collected all kinds of data, and through all of that, the Natural History collected 6 cases. We collected 220. We published that, and now we want to do a better job. We want to really collect good data on mortality, death certificates, interview the family, interview the healthcare provider. So if you know anyone who's passed away with Kleefstra, please send them to the mortality study. And that tells about that. And these are all the people who work at COMBINEDBrain, and we're always having new ones. They persist in graduating, going to med school and whatnot. And those are all of us putting all the pieces together. So thank you so much.
questions for Terry Jo? Okay.
Nope.
We'll move on to the next person.